At the 2026 World Cup, everyone was talking about Lamine Yamal, about De La Fuente, about Messi's last dance and how he carried Argentina all the way to the final. But while all that was happening, one team was quietly building its own place in the story. Morocco. Semifinal in 2022, taking down Spain and Portugal along the way. Quarterfinal in 2026, knocking out the Netherlands, one of the most feared African teams in the history of the game, built not on tradition, but on choice. The question is Morocco still an underdog, or is it becoming a world power? In 1970, Morocco was the only African team at the World Cup, and they earned the first point in the history of African football at the tournament. In 1986, they became the first African team to win a group and advance to the knockout stage. In 2022, their goalkeeper saved 3 consecutive Spanish penalties in the round of 16. They eliminated Portugal in the quarterfinals, and that 4th place finish was received in Rabat like a championship. In 2026, the story continued. In the group stage, they drew with Brazil, won their other 2 games, and finished second. In the knockout rounds, they beat Canada and knocked out the Netherlands on penalties to reach the quarterfinals, where they met France. Tournament after tournament, eliminating European powerhouses and reaching the final stages of the biggest competition in the world. In FIFA's world rankings, Morocco climbed 35 positions in less than 10 years. 41st in 2018, 11th in 2022, 6th in 2026, just 1 point behind Brazil. Ahead of Belgium, Portugal, Germany. Behind these results, there is a project. In 2019, Morocco opened the Mohammed VI football complex, 55 million euros invested in the development of Moroccan football. And they began systematically recruiting dual nationality players, Moroccan players raised in Europe with French, Spanish, or Belgian passports, who had the option to choose and chose Morocco. A 14th century Moroccan philosopher had a word for this, Asabiyya, the cohesion of groups on the periphery who have everything to prove. His theory was that this solidarity was stronger than any individual talent. Morocco has proved him right. Asabiyya is not an abstract concept. It shows up in every choice that built this team. Hakimi was born in Madrid, the son of Moroccan parents, formed by Real Madrid. The Spanish Federation wanted him, but he chose Morocco. He was the one who stepped up for the last penalty against Spain in 2022, chipping it down the middle without hesitation. Brahim Díaz was born in Malaga, of Moroccan descent. He played for the Spanish national team from 2016, from the under-17 all the way to the senior squad in 2021. In 2024, Morocco called him up. When he scored for the Moroccan national team, he dedicated the goal to King Mohammed VI, not as a political statement, as a declaration of belonging. And then there is Bouaddi, 18 years old, born in France. He captained the French under-21 side at 17 and was left out of the senior squad when it mattered. Morocco's new coach personally guaranteed Bouaddi a spot at the World Cup. He played the World Cup, and when he lost in the quarterfinals to the country where he was born, he said, "It was my heart that decided. 0 regrets." Bouaddi, the coach, is part of the same story. When the position opened up 3 months before the World Cup, the federation did not look outside. They called the coach who had just built the under-20 World Cup champion that same year. Nobody chose Morocco out of convenience. Every choice was an act of asabiyya, of belonging. What winning means depends on where you start. In 2026, Morocco reached the quarterfinals by defeating yet another European powerhouse. In the tournament's final standings, Morocco finished 7th. Brazil finished 11th. For a team that spent decades being a historical curiosity, finishing above the country with the most World Cup titles in history is not a coincidence. It is a statement. France, Spain, Argentina, Brazil have had decades of clubs exporting generations of players to the world. When those teams advance at a World Cup, they are harvesting what centuries of tradition, investment, and infrastructure planted. Progress is the confirmation of a system that already exists. Morocco reached 6th in the world without any of that. The Mohammed VI football complex is 7 years old. The players who make up this team were raised and developed in other countries, in other systems. Every step Morocco takes is not the harvest of a system. It is the construction of one, in real time, game by game. For Spain, winning the title is the expectation. For Morocco, reaching the quarterfinals for the second consecutive time is a revolution built by people who chose to belong. Half a century ago, Morocco entered World Cups as a curiosity. Today, they enter as a threat. That distance was not covered with oil money or bought-in stars. It was covered game by game, choice by choice, by a generation that decided belonging was worth more than any easier path. Morocco is no longer an underdog. It is a new power establishing itself and creating its own space. And the question that remains is, how far can this generation go? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.